What is good, everyone? In today's video we're going to be playing the Leo 2FK. So this is the first vehicle that you can unlock of the two new vehicles in the battle pass. This one has ATGMs and it has two kind of neat abilities, you know, the feign death and the one that decreases accuracy for people trying to fight you. Today I'm just kind of bringing you an interesting game. I feel like this was a game that I did quite well in, so I kind of wanted to share it with you guys. A few things about this game. First off, this vehicle is completely stock. Second off, it's a bit goofy that van completely blocked my shot, but regardless. So, I'm playing this vehicle completely stock. I only have one agent skill applied as well, and that's just the one that allows me to swap between my proxies faster. And I would say it's probably the best option for like the early pickup for this agent. So I tried to ignore the T62A, but he just kind of came around, and thankfully he was low enough HP that I could deal with him. If he came at me full HP, he would have killed me there instead. And now I'm just kind of trying to flank the enemies, see what all I can do on the flanks. I noticed that I don't see any of the enemy team. I should have been more aware and kind of like paid attention to my rear, but I'm not really doing that. And at this point I'm like, why am I even shooting this shield? I can just drive up and shoot him frontally like this if he's just going to hold up his shield like this. So I'm able to kind of just push into his shield range, and thankfully it was pretty easy to finish off, and luckily for me, none of the enemy teams kind of noticed me. I didn't have a shot ready yet, so I decided it's best to just wait and hold. And this ALVT, he's just not paying attention to me at all. I don't know if he came around the corner, seen the feign death ability, and then just assumed that I was completely dead. But I assume that's the case, and he just kind of completely ignored me. He was really hyper focused on that M55 as well, which is also a nice thing. Thanks to that cap, I am kind of able to kind of get myself over here, and I'm just waiting for my ultimate so that I can kind of just drop it down and have a, you know, safe escape if necessary. And then this Leo kind of comes around. I dropped the ultimate just in case he's able to get another shot into me so I could swap over. But now I'm just going to leave the actual base one right there just so I can swap back in case it's not safe. Unluckily for me, I don't know if it was like the cones or something that caused the ATGM to kind of act wonky there. But regardless, I am now behind him. I'm actually, in this situation, really heavily paying attention to my proxy's health, because I'm worried that T62A actually is going to be going after my proxy. But luckily for me, it doesn't seem that's the case. We're able to kind of help our team pick up off the kills on this cap. I noticed it's getting a little bit too spicy. One more shot from anything and I would die, so I just swap out of my proxy. I noticed two guys behind me, and I'm thinking that I'm just screwed here. And in all honesty, I should have been. Like, I used the feign death, but clearly he knows I'm faking. So we're just going to kind of brawl it out and see what happens here. He's able to set me on fire. I don't have any way to kind of get rid of the fire, but luckily for me, the fire actually goes out thanks to my teammate's smoke, and I'm able to survive because he's expecting me to have died there, but instead I'm able to get another shot. So we're just going to kind of use feign death. This is kind of like one of the biggest things about feign death that I like, is because I'm feign deathed, like, they don't really see me as a target through the smoke, so I'm able to fully heal, which is a very nice thing. Now, I'm noticing that, you know, this ALVT is kind of blocking my shot, so I'm not really able to kind of fight that guy. But overall, the point's looking pretty good. We're kind of in a strong position right now. I mean, I'm even thinking about using the proxy to get behind this ALVT. Luckily, I decided it's best that I don't. I can actually just save my proxy and drop it in a safe location instead. That way I have a safe way to drop back in case anything happens to me. I noticed this Leo shooting around the corner, and I'm just going to try and assassinate him as quick as possible. And He does go down quite fast. It seems like the friendly FV actually was able to pick him up. I'm not sure where he shot it from, but now that I can see that he clearly did a pretty well shot from that distance. I assumed after taking that shot in the rear that I was probably going to die, so I just swapped to my proxy, and my other proxy kind of, as you can see, clearly does die. I realized a mistake here is I should have just held the shot against the ALVT, because now I have not only the ALVT coming after me, but this Leo. And now I'm in a sticky situation, right? Luckily for me, the actual jamming blocks the shot for me, and his shot doesn't connect, and mine does. And now it's kind of a situation of whoever gets the next shot off is going to win. And unfortunately for me, it was not me. But it's just the first death, so I'm not too worried about it. Unfortunately, because of that death, we do end up losing the first round. And we're going to go ahead and hop into the second round of this control match. So, one of the things that I like about this vehicle, in terms of balancing, is because you're using ATGMs, it means that long-distance sniping is a lot more, what I would say, complicated in how you have to lead a shot and everything, which means for long-range actual damage against, like, specifically moving targets, it's a lot more difficult for the person piloting the vehicle to actually be able to hit those shots perfectly. And I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of like where this vehicle is now in balancing terms of things, especially after it had its buff with the increased damage from the most recent patch. And I will be releasing a new tier list for this upcoming patch, or for this patch that came out, just to kind of go over my thoughts on vehicles and how I feel about them now. I will say vehicles like the Martyr, you know, not a huge fan of them anymore, but regardless, not this video. So, one of the things with the ATGMs with this vehicle, again, back to the sniping route, if someone's moving at fast speeds, you can tell if it's a decent, Leo 2FK player, if they're able to hit those people at long ranges while they're moving, versus one who it's going to be much harder time for them to actually hit shots at distances when, they're not as good or competent of a player, which I definitely feel is like a very good balancing part of this. Like, the higher skill you are, the more effective this vehicle becomes at range for you. And I decided after that first death on the cap that, I have pretty clear sight lines from over here, so it's probably better for me to support my team via the flanks than to actually try and fight on the cap, especially with my low health. And luckily for me, I am able to distract this ALVT. There's also the Leo 2FK in the back that's trying to kill me as well. And so I do think I'm actually doing a decent job in distracting their team. I'm just hoping that our team is able to kind of push on the cap and kind of secure it while I'm dealing with these people on the flanks. So the Leo died, the ALVT is now dead, and now we're going to be going over after that Leo 2FK. And that's going to kind of put 3 of their teammates out of commission. And now all that needs to be dealt with is this M1 on cap. Unfortunately, I didn't aim that shot well, so I missed it, right? That's me not aiming the shot well. There, I feel like the actual ATGM kind of dipped into the ground with my tracking. And I probably should have just kept it a little higher and I would have hit that T62A. But it's probably best that I actually didn't, because I don't want him to actually focus on me in this game. It's kind of like this Leo. I really don't want the Leo to be focusing on me, so I do know I have to kind of just get rid of the Leo, otherwise he's going to be a problem. But luckily for me, at these distances, the effects of my actual ability for jamming is really good, meaning that I actually don't have to worry too much about having return fire hit me. And you can even hear this Leo 2FK missed his shot on me because of how far, or because of that jamming ability. So luckily for me, I'm able to save the proxy. Now, I just wanted to get the proxy into a safe spot so that it didn't die. Now, I will say that was a little bit of a risky choice, but sometimes you do have to make risky choices in order to keep up your proxy. And that's the thing, is like if you switch your proxy at a bad time, like if someone had shot my secondary right then and there, I would have been dead. I would have lost my ultimate and everything, kind of like in this situation. But here in this situation, I actually feel a lot safer because I have my ability, right? That means this Leo 2FK isn't going to be able to hit me, because whenever the actual jamming status is up, it causes, you know, the missile to kind of go wonky like that. So I actually felt very safe, even though I was low health. Because of the distance that I was fighting at, I actually felt quite safe in trying to hit, you know, enemies coming out, because I felt like it was very unlikely that they were going to be able to hit me in that circumstance. And luckily it did pay off. You know, I was able to pick up the kill on the Leo 2FK. And here, again, even though I'm low health because of the distance that I'm playing at, I kind of felt comfortable poking out that low health proxy, just due to the fact that the jamming status effect, or I don't know if it's jamming status effect, but the like jamming ability was up. I really should probably learn the name of these abilities a little bit better. And right there, you seen I activated it last second. I should have activated it sooner, but luckily for me, the missile hit the ground. And now it's a tied game, 1-1. So I was able to effectively help my teammate in making sure that the game felt more like a 3v4 instead of a, you know, me being out of the game and doing nothing. I was able to constantly keep the other Leo 2FK suppressed, and also was able to suppress the ALVT quite a lot. And I feel like that did help our team quite considerably in that situation. And one thing I like about this vehicle, more than like the Leo 1A6, is because of the 3 rounds in the ATGM, I feel like being able to get on these flanks is, you're just a lot more successful. Now, I wasn't the only one flanking. This Leo 2FK actually caught me by surprise, because I wasn't expecting him to be on the full outskirts of the city, and he definitely caught me off guard. But luckily for me, I have my ultimate up, and it doesn't seem he has his. Now, he is hyper-focused on my proxy, and honestly, in that situation, I don't know if there was a better option for him, so I think he performed like the best that he could. Now, he could have made it so that both my proxy and my actual vehicle were both low health, but my proxy still had the repair kit up, so it would have just gone back to full health. So, honestly, probably the best decision that he could have made there. I don't know if I would have made the same decision. I think I probably would have tried to focus the main one, but that's just me personally. I thought that was the like rear of whatever vehicle that is up there, but it just seems to be either a dead vehicle or one of those like APCs that kind of sit around the maps. So no damage was really done there. Now I am kind of worried that this Leo is actually going to continue flanking. And he doesn't. He kind of drives in front of me, but honestly, the fact that that shot did not penetrate is a little bit bullshit. Luckily, you know, he's not able to hit the ATGM because of the jamming ability, but it doesn't really matter in the situation where, you know, this T62A is kind of able to get in my face. And I will say, like, a T62 coming after you is definitely going to be one of your hardest counters. As you can see there, he rams you for a bunch of damage. He has a faster intra-crip reload, so he's able to kind of dish out damage a bit better. To be fair, in all honesty, what I should have done is I should have aimed for his turret and tried to ammo rack him through the turret, since this vehicle does have ATGM heat. But, you know, it is kind of just a learning experience in the game sometimes. You gotta understand your mistakes. There, I tried to slam down the missile because I didn't have perfect line of sight. I didn't calculate the distance of the enemy vehicle properly, so in that scenario, I just didn't hit whoever was actually beyond that crate. And here, I actually make quite a stupid mistake, right? So I kind of poke out and hit the ALVT, but I should have been more aware of the fact that their team would be coming back, and because of that, I actually die in this situation, and the only one I can blame is me. Now, I'm not actually too worried that I did die, though, because it does seem that we are on the winning end of this, but one or two more mistakes, you know, this enemy team is performing quite well. One or two more mistakes similar to that, and, you know, this could be a game over. Now, luckily, our team, you know, just a little bit of going ahead of myself. We do end up winning this game, but it is definitely a close game. So the enemy team has able to actually pull back the cap, and I'm not too worried because we definitely still have time, but I should have been paying more attention to my surroundings. Not only does the T-62 get a free shot on me, but because I'm tunnel visioned on the M1E1, I also don't notice that Leo 1A6, and he's able to easily finish me off because I'm way too exposed there, especially for a vehicle with low health. Now this is kind of the part of the game where I am getting a little bit worried, just over the fact that if, you know, this keeps up and my team isn't able to get back onto the cap, this is kind of the part where the enemy team can completely run away with this game. Luckily for me, I'm able to kind of pick up this Leo 2FK here, and that does help alleviate some of the stress my team is facing. I can't really do too much against the T-62A, but this M1E1 kind of drives in front of me, so I'm able to get some easy shots into him, and we're able to pick him up as well. Right now, my goal is to prevent as many people from reaching the cap to make sure that our team can capture the base and hold the cap. Right? I don't need to be on the cap to win this game. I need to stop the enemy from being on the cap in order to win this game. And at this point, I'm just trying to think of where I should exactly go. I noticed that proxy's not in a safe spot, so I kind of drive it back until it's kind of safe. And it's actually a good thing that I did this, especially with what's about to happen, right? So I think the enemy team is fed up with me, right? And I kind of can't allow myself to die, because if I allow myself to die, I'm going to put my team in a precarious situation where essentially they can be pushed off of cap and we might end up losing this game. But luckily for me, I do have my team actually does come over to help me. And also another lucky situation is that M1E1 actually focuses completely on my proxy instead of focusing on me. Again, I understand why he did it, but I probably would have focused me in that situation instead of my proxy, since it was less likely for me to swap back to the proxy. Now, that T-62A actually ignores me at this point. I think he thought I was going to die from, like, the burn or something. I'm able to get it one more shot, but luckily for us, none of their team was able to push on the cap, and that was a victory for our team. So this was kind of just a breakdown of a pretty good game that I had on the Leo 2FK. I kind of wanted to share this with you all. Funny enough, most of the XP came from, like, critical range damage. You seen I got 7,000 XP from the critical range damage, so that was a lot of it came from the second cap and everything. And here you can see I was running a very low, you know, level Leo 2FK. But even then, I think this vehicle is in a good spot. It can perform in the hands of a capable person. And I like vehicles like that where, sure, it might not be the greatest overall, but with proper skill expression, it can become a very good vehicle. But thank you again for watching. Have a good one. Goodbye.